I need to say something that nobody in the fitness industry is going to say because it doesn't get views. Most of you watching are never going to get in shape. Not because you're lazy, not because you don't care, but because the environment we grew up in has made it almost structurally impossible for us to commit to things and to build a healthy body and actually keep it. And I know this because I lived it. I went from 97 kg to 77 kg in 4 months. I poured everything I had into it, blood, sweat and tears, and 12 months later, I'd put all the weight back on and some. I did everything right and ended up back at zero. If that sounds familiar, this video is for you. Let me walk you through what exactly is going on with our generation, and then I'll show you the only thing that actually works. Not a transformation program, not a meal plan, something much simpler and much easier. Problem one, we never start because we already think it's too late. Open Instagram right now. What do you see? 16-year-olds who are benching 120 kg, 18-year-olds who look like they've been working out for 2 decades already, 20-year-olds deadlifting 3 times their body weight. And we look at that and think we're already behind. We've missed our opportunity. If I haven't built the body by now, I never will. And this is one of the most insidious lies the internet tells us, because most of them 16-year-olds who you see online are pumping steroids. The transformation videos you watch are either chemically assisted, professionally lit, dehydrated for the shoot, or represent a genetic outlier that is less than 0.1% of the population. You are comparing your beginning to someone else's highlight reel and medicine cabinet. But here's the deeper problem. Even though intellectually you know this, it still works on you because our brains aren't built to distinguish between what's real and what's chemically curated. We see the image and we fill the gap. We decide we can't close it, and then we don't even try. But a generation ago, you couldn't even see what other people's physiques look like. You were comparing your physique to people you saw in your immediate life, the people you saw at your gym or family members. But now you compare yourself to the internet's most extreme examples simultaneously. The comparison pool went from 20 to 30 people to 7 billion in a couple years, and our psychology never adapted. Problem two, we watch other people's transformations instead of our own. And I won't lie, I've been guilty of this many times. And this one is harder to admit because it feels like productivity. You're watching the fitness content. You're learning about zone 2 training and how to count your macros and the best push-pull leg split and how to progressive overload. You're consuming transformation videos and feeling inspired. Surely you're working towards your goals, right? You're not. You're tricking your brain into releasing dopamine that you don't deserve. You're following someone else's progress without doing any of the work yourself. But there's actual neuroscience behind this. When you watch someone else achieve something, your brain partially stimulates the feeling of achieving it yourself. It's the same mechanism that makes sport fans feel a sense of achievement when their favorite team wins the league, even though they did nothing to help. Vicarious achievements feel like achievements, but the body on the screen is changing and yours isn't. And I spent months doing this, watching 3-month transformation videos, 6-month transformation videos, how to unfuck your life, ultra athletes documenting their journey. And every video I watched simultaneously made me feel inspired and paralyzed because these people were so far ahead of where I was that the gap felt so unreachable and so unattainable. So I just kept watching and my body stayed the same and I saw no progress for months. And years can disappear like that and you realize you're still in the same body you were trying to change. And now you're 2 years older and you've watched over 400 transformation videos and done nothing with that information. Problem three, the finish line keeps moving and no one tells you. And this is the one that broke me personally. Like I said, I lost 20 kilograms in 4 months. It's a respectable feat. I went from 97 kg to 77 kg and I worked harder than I had worked for anything in my life before. And I told myself that when I reach my goal, everything is gonna change. I'm gonna be happier, fitter, healthier, stronger, faster, all my problems would just disappear. That this time will be different. I'll be different. I'll feel confident, comfortable, and finally satisfied. And I got there. But instantly, I started comparing myself to people who are leaner than me, who had stronger muscles than me, and just ultimately further along than me. The finish line had moved. Now I needed to add more muscle. I needed to lose an extra 5 kg. I needed to improve my mobility. I had to fix my cardiovascular endurance. So many more tasks that I didn't even think about when I started. I'd poured my heart into this and I still felt like I was behind. So I burned out completely. And because I had built up no momentum, no sustainable process under that transformation, just a sprint followed by nothing, I had no way of maintaining what I'd built. And 12 months later, I was back where I started, 95 kg. And the fitness industry doesn't tell you about this because it's not the product they're trying to sell you. The product is the transformation, the before and after, the dramatic arc from going from one body to the other. Nobody makes the video about what happens after the transformation, what life is like trying to maintain that body, trying to maintain that physique, because you realize that the finish line was never real. And if you built everything around reaching that goal, you end up with nothing left. So here's what I figured out. And honestly, I'm 25 days into my 75 hard challenge and trying to learn. I've definitely not solved any of these problems. The problem with everything I've just described, the vicarious achievements, the paralysis, the moving finish line, is that they all share one root cause. We're treating fitness as a destination rather than a practice. We're asking, how do I get there? Rather than asking the more simple question, what do I have to do today? Because the answer to that question is embarrassingly simple. You just have to get 1% better today. That's it. Not 5%, not a whole transformation, just one measly percent. One more rep, one more kilometer, one better meal, one morning where you get up instead of staying in bed. And I know that sounds like a self-help poster. So before you click away, I need you to understand why it actually works and why these transformation programs aren't going to help you. 1% is achievable even on your worst day. On the day when you're exhausted and tired and feel a little bit under the weather, motivation can't carry you, but you can still do 1%. You can't give it your all. You can't expect a transformation straight away. Transformation programs fail the moment life gets difficult, which it inevitably always does. 1% compounds through difficult days rather than just stopping at them. Another thing that works is stop watching other people's journeys and start documenting your own. I'm not talking about posting, just documenting for yourself. Seeing progress, track that progress, create a spreadsheet and actually document your data and have that analytical mind. Use it as a problem that needs to be solved rather than fixed. Stop comparing yourself to other people's transformations and the journeys they go through, and start looking at your own and comparing it to data you've previously gathered. You have your own data, your own proof, your own story, that something is happening even when it doesn't feel like it. I'm on day 25 of 75 Hard, and at the start of this challenge, I did not think I'd be able to run a 10-kilometer run or increase my bench even by 2 kg. I still can't do a pull-up, but I'm working on that every single day. But I've already lost 5 kg in these 3 weeks of doing it so far. At the start, I did not think any of this was going to be possible because I didn't think I had that mindset anymore. I didn't think I could be that person. I'd compared myself too much to these people online, and it impacted me a lot. I struggled a lot, immensely, because I overstimulated my brain with all these transformation videos and topics and content that I thought that was the productivity. I didn't actually have to go to the gym. I didn't have to go for a run. I thought I was changing my mindset, but really I was just delaying that process. I was giving my brain that instant gratification of wanting to be that person. So watching these videos made me feel like that person, living vicariously through them achievements. But that is not the destination. That is not the journey. That's not even the start of the journey. The start of the journey is day one. So is Gen Z never going to get in shape? No, but the ones who are the ones who stopped watching other people do it and started doing it themselves, who stopped asking when they'd arrive and started asking, what did I do today? Who built something sustainable rather than something spectacular. The second best time is now. Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, not when you watch another self-help video or a fitness transformation and finally find enough motivation to do it. It's now. So what are you doing today to add to that 1%? Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate a subscribe. Have a great day.